and welcome back to my channel. My name is Becky and this is my podcast where I talk about my knitting and my reading, crafting, anything that I've been getting up to. This video is going to be my April wrap-up video. I've got lots and lots to share with you today and I'm really excited to get stuck in. I'm going to leave links to everything that I talk about in the description box down below, and you can find me on Instagram as @BeckyKnits and on Ravelry as Becky Mundy. If you enjoy my video, please do think about subscribing and also leaving a like on the video. It really helps. So first thing I have to show you, I've got a little basket here, and in here are 3 whips from this month. I think in my last video I was talking about what I was planning on working on and my plans changed a little bit. I was working on my second breakfast socks, a pattern by Lindsay of Sock Witchery, and I was like, I'm gonna finish these, and I did finish them, but after the podcast I went back to my knitting basket and I decided that I actually felt compelled to cast on a completely different sock. So the first thing that I finished in April was the second sock in a pair of my bookshelf socks. This is a pattern by me, and I started these, I think this was like when I was testing the pattern one last time before I sent it out to test knitters. This was the sock that I started. This was the first one, I know, because it's got a coffee stain here, which I'm hoping will wash out when I block them. I haven't blocked them yet. So I'm really pleased with them. They're so colourful and fun. It's a sock set from a homespun house, and the second one just flew off the needles. It was so much fun. I think that one of the reasons why I only knit the first one originally was because it was knit on double pointed needles and it has a heel flap and gusset. Yeah, I got to a point where I decided I wanted all of my socks to have a fish lips kiss heel, and I wanted to knit all of my socks on a circular needle and do the magic loop method. So the fact that these were on DPNs and had a heel flap and gusset basically meant that I was like, I'm done with you. But I embraced the double pointed needle and the heel flap and gusset again to finish these socks off. I'm back in heel flap and gusset land, so like future socks will probably go back to having this heel construction because it definitely fits my foot better. I'm not sold on double pointed needles. I found them like really fiddly to do. It was fine to do it. I got through it quickly, but I do prefer magic loop, I think. That was a really nice project to get finished. It's been in my knitting basket for so long and I'm really pleased to have these off the needles. I'm going to block them and then I'll probably wear them with like some Birkenstocks or something because they're just so fun and colourful that I need to get them on my feet. It was, I think I said it was a sock set from a homespun house, and it was a 50 gram, the main colour was 50 grams, and then it was 3 20 gram minis, and then this is what I have left of each of those. So it was great. That worked really well for me and the size of sock that I knit. I did do a short leg, which I think will be fine. The only problem is I cast on too many stitches for these when I did the first one. So obviously I did the same for the second one. And so I think that means it's going to be a little bit loose. So they might slip down is my only concern. But I'm happy with a shorty sock, that's fine. But yeah, it's really nice to know that I can get a pair of socks that are like a decent length out of a 50 gram, 3 20 gram minis like set. So that's really nice. Then the next socks that I finished were still not my second breakfast socks. We went away to London. I've got a blog if you are interested. And we went to see the Totoro stage show. And I needed a pair of like really plain socks that I could potentially knit while we were watching the show. I ended up not getting any knitting done while we were watching because I was just so engrossed in the play. It was amazing. But I knit them lots of other times while we were away, like at night when the kids were going to sleep. So these are a pair of toe-up socks that I did. So they've got a fish lips kiss heel. Toe-up socks, I'm not going to do a heel flap and cuss it in. I'm going to do some sort of like short row heel type thing in those. But these were super quick. The first one, which is this one, I think. No, this one's the first one. The first one I was knitting when I was working, when I was doing markets with like my lino prints or my children's clothes. I don't do those anymore, so this one had been finished and I was saving the second one to cast on for another market, and then I stopped doing markets, so it never got cast on. But I thought, perfect opportunity to cast on the second sock and get that done, because I feel like there's a lot of knitting, plain knitting in a toe-up sock like early. When I knit socks, I knit the leg shorter than I knit the foot, so there's not a lot of knitting in the top of a sock, but there's quite a lot of plain knitting in the bottom of a sock. So that was my thinking with taking toe-up socks, and it meant that I got another pair of socks off the needles. The yarn is from Giddy Yarns. I think it's called Snapdragon. I don't know if I've got the tag here. It is called Snapdragon, and it was a sock set, so it was 50 grams again of the main yarn, and then 20 grams of the mini, that's interesting that I got, because this sock has a longer leg than this one. I guess this is patterned, and I have more of this left. I have quite a bit of that left. Probably get a pair of socks for my smallest child out of that. So put that back there. But yeah, really happy with these. The only thing I don't like about toe-up socks is the like top of the cuff. But when it's on, it's fine. I just don't like it how it like sort of splays like that when I'm just looking at them. So that's a bit annoying. I'm just going to adjust this. I feel like you were very far away. Yeah, I'm sat on my stool again, even though I said I wasn't going to, but I haven't really got anything else to sit on. So there we go. But yeah, that was the second sock. It took me like a week or so to finish these. I worked on them quite a lot. Just like as and when I was doing other things, I had them around. So I was quite pleased. It was less than a week. It was a couple of days, I think it took me to finish those. So I was working on other things at the same time, but pleased that those are finished. It's another, like I've got a list of whips that I'm working on. It's another one ticked off, so that was really nice. And then finally, I did complete the second breakfast socks. So that felt really good. And I found, if you watched my last episode, I found the other gift socks that I was talking about, the bookshelf socks. So I found those and they're ready to go in the gift box along with these ones and be ready for gifting. So there we go. Second breakfast socks, patterned by Lindsay of Sock Witchery. I'll leave a link down below. The yarn is from Noodle Soup yarn. I think it's actually just called Noodle Soup, but yeah, lovely. It's really, there's something really nice about the gauge in these socks. I don't know, they're just really, they've got a nice feel to them, so I'm hoping they're going to be comfortable to wear. And yeah, the only thing was I ran out of the contrasting colour just at the tip of the toe, but I don't think that the recipient is going to care about that. It looks fine. For me it would be, oh I think I said this last time, for me it would be like this would be my left foot and this would be my right foot. I would know which sock they went on all the time, which foot they went on all the time, so really pleased with those. Again, it was one of those things where once I just sort of put my mind to it and knit on it, they were done really, really quickly. So those three things are finished objects from this month. It's only 3 socks finished this month, and one of them was already like in progress, but it still feels like really good progress towards really clearing out my whips. That is like my aim, is to really significantly reduce the number of projects that I have on the go at once. And I'm not stopping myself from casting things on. If I want to cast something on, then I'm going to let myself do that, but I just don't really want to cast things on at the moment. I think I just don't want to have to think about casting anything on. I think I just want to pick something up and just knit it. And I think everything, I'm just trying to think about what else is downstairs. Possibly all but one of my projects, I know that I could just pick up. I could go into my Knit Companion app. It would tell me where I was and I could just carry on knitting like I'd been knitting it like all the time. I think there's just one thing that I'm not, and it's a crochet project, and I would have to figure that out again. But everything else, I could literally just pick it up and pick up where I left off. Then I talked a lot about my sea glass tee, and I am going to show that to you, but I worked quite a bit on that to a point and then I stopped because I decided that I have to sort of think ahead. We're doing a bit of travelling in May, so I need to make sure that I've got projects that are suitable for travelling. I will show you my sea glass tee because I haven't worked on it for a little while, but it's definitely further along than when I last showed it to you. I've now got it in 2 bags. It's in my like extra large mushrooms bag from Coffee and Yarn Cakes, and then it's in a smaller like moony bag also from Coffee and Yarn Cakes. And here we go. So all of the stuff, all of the extra skeins, all of the minis that I've used are in there, and then everything that I have yet to use in this like repeat of the minis is in the smaller bag. I'll explain it in a second, but I'll show it to you first. So I think when I last showed it to you I hadn't split for the body and the sleeves yet, but I have now got to that point. So here we go, here's the front. Oh. So there we go, it's split. And I have done a couple of rounds in the body, and at this point it is just making the body longer and then coming back and doing the sleeves. I think there's some decreasing in the sleeves to get the shaping and things like that, but the body is just knit down. So it is easy knitting, but just because of how much stuff I would have to take with me, it's not really a practical project for travelling. I might take it. We're going to see my in-laws for a weekend. I might take it then and just take this and just work on it, because it's, yeah, like I say, it's so easy to pick up and work on that it seems silly to put it aside because it's complicated when really it's just bulky. So I'm so happy with it, and now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't want to knit anything else until this is finished, but but it is like, it's not practical to be taking around, but I'm so happy with it. I'm so glad that I decided to just keep going and not rip it all out, because yeah, I've so this is how where I was changing colour before. You can really see where I was changing colour, but I changed the way that I was changing colour, and now it's a lot more like harder to notice. So yeah, so happy with it, so happy with it. So yeah, this is just gonna pop away. I've got my little dinosaur from Hannah of Corner of Craft, and so I'm just happy with it. So I'm looking forward to being back from travelling about and working on this a bit more. But like I say, I put it aside to focus on some things that I knew I would be able to get to a point where I would be able to take them with us. But having said that, I sort of put it aside, I think I've done quite a lot on it since I last showed it to you, and hopefully by the next time that I show it to you at the end of May, I'll still have gotten some work done on it. But yeah, this isn't the priority at the moment. So the other thing that I've worked on loads, that was my priority, is my Salty Air tee by Samantha Garren. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And this is a lovely t-shirt that I've had on my needles for far too long. I don't know why I put it down, but I did, and yeah, but I picked it up again so easily and just ploughed through the lace chart. And what I wanted to do was get through the yoke and split for the sleeves, because then it's just plain knitting all the way down to the hem. So I knew that I would be able to travel with this really, really easily. So here we are. I think the last time I showed it to you, if you've been watching the podcast for a while, I think it was here. So I've done, and that was the last time I worked on it. So I've knit quite a good amount, and the charts are so easy to follow. It's a really easy like stitch pattern to keep up with. I couldn't memorize it, but like not every time, but it was easy enough to just glance over the chart and be like, oh yeah, I remember what I have to do. So I'm really pleased with it, and I think it's going to be really, really beautiful. It does have like, so this is my Summer Sorrel tee, by the way, also by Wool and Pine Design, in some yarn from Jess at Skin in the Stitch, and this one has like very little arm. This t-shirt has got like a bit of a sleeve, so I'm a bit nervous about yarn for this one because this is my first ball. I've run out almost, but then I do have a full skein, so maybe I'm worrying unnecessarily. But I'm just a bit concerned because I don't want the sleeves to be like an odd length. Like I like this is okay, but I want these ones to be longer. I think I would feel more comfortable if the sleeves were a bit longer. So yeah, and this is yarn that I dyed as well, so it's not something you can buy anywhere, but I'm really, really pleased with the colour. I think I called it Piccalilli, but I don't know if it really says Piccalilli to me now. But I really love it. And I think it's going to be really, really pretty when it's done. I can't wait to block it and see that lace really come alive. So yeah, my now that I'm on like just plain round and round and round, that's going to be so easy to knit when I'm like a passenger in the car, when we're on trains, or in the evening when we're trying to get the children to sleep and we have to have the room dark, so that they can get to sleep. So I can just keep going round and round. So hopefully I'll be able to make some progress on this while we're away. Yeah, I split for the sleeve and the body, knit a little bit just to get past the awkwardness of having just recently split the sleeves in the body, and then I just put it down. So I haven't worked on it in about a week, just because I don't want to, there's no point in me taking it if I think I'm going to finish it like midway through our holiday. So I just wanted to leave as much knitting as possible, because if it comes back unfinished, that's absolutely fine. But if I run out of knitting while I'm away, that is not okay. So that is the first thing that I'm going to be taking on holiday with us. It was the first kind of like focus. And the second thing, I was undecided. I need a pair of plain socks. I think I'm worried that I'm going to be bored with all of the just stockinette, but I also think probably not going to have any time to do any like focused knitting time. So I think plain knitting is the way to go. And we want portability for like out and about in the day, and then productivity for like times when we're like maybe sitting by a pool or something. So the other thing that I'm kind of thinking about taking, and that I have kind of prioritised, is this is a coffee and yarn cakes bag. This is a coffee and yarn cakes bag. And this is a pair of green socks, also yarn dyed by me. And I've had them on the needles for a long time. I think they'd been sitting with the cuff done for ages and I just hadn't gotten around to doing the heel. But I'm now through the heel, through the gusset decreases, and ready to just knit round and round and round. So I think I'm going to cast on the second sock from the other side of the ball, from the outside. I think this is sensible, yeah. So I'll just cast on the other one from the outside and kind of go from there. And I think that having a pair of socks and my salty air tea is going to be enough. I have got another pair of plain socks that are in my like pile of whips, but they're on 9-inch circulars, and it's not my favourite way to knit socks. And I'm sort of debating whether or not to rip them out, and whether or not, you know, I might just pull them back to the cuffs and then stick them on a circular needle, because the cuffs are stretchy enough that I don't think that the change in gauge, because there'll probably be a difference in gauge, I don't think it'll make a huge difference. So, and then I might have those to take instead. I don't know. It feels good that this sock is almost finished, but again, will I then finish a pair of socks and be left with nothing to knit? I can't remember how much yarn I have left if I just use 100 grams and don't do any contrasting heels, toes, cuffs. I'm thinking, would I have enough to cast on like a pair of socks for one of my children at the end of having made a pair for me? I don't know. Because I'll have all of the stuff with me to cast on a new pair of socks. And both my children keep asking me for socks. So I know that I'm going to cast on a pair of socks for them at some point in the future. Sorry about like all of the hair flapping that I'm doing. It's too long. I was thinking about growing it out. I've decided that's not the way for me. I've got a hair appointment coming up soon, but until then I'm just like irritated with it. I can't do anything with it. Like it doesn't do anything. I've tried like curling stuff to try and give it a bit of, but it doesn't do anything, and it just sits weird. So I apologise if it's annoying I'm touching my hair so much, but it's also really annoying if I don't touch it because it's in my face. Yeah, so these are probably going to be my 2 projects for holiday. They are super portable, and then I could easily fit like a little notions pouch in this one, and that is like very reasonable holiday knitting, I think. So yeah, they'll fit in my like rucksack, so I can have them like on a train or in the car wherever we are, and that'll be fine. So we're not getting a plane anywhere, we're just taking some trains, we're driving for some bits of our time away. So I think these 2 little bags will be perfect. I'm hoping that by the next time I do a podcast at the end of May, that these 2 projects will be finished, so that I can focus on some other things. The other project that I have switched to after the like interest of the lace in the salty air tea, I wanted something interesting, and I picked back up, because I'd kind of put this aside, picked back up my Birds of a Feather shawl, which I showed you last time, so as far as you're aware I haven't abandoned it, but I think when I last showed it to you I was like in the middle of this section, possibly a little bit, maybe it was here, I wasn't here was I? Did I move that to tell you where I was? I don't know. This is how much I've got anyway, and so it's I've done the first 3 sections which are just plain knitting, and you just switch between the 2 yarns, and then there's increasing and stuff, but I'm just about to start the first lace section, and it's very pretty, but it's not charted, it's just written out, and it's not easy to remember, so I'm struggling a little bit with that. It took me quite a long time to just knit that first row of like lace eyelets. I think it's going to be beautiful, and there's not a lot of sections of lace, so I think it's going to be fine, but it was just a bit frustrating that after having knit the lace in the salty air tea and it was like so easy to do, this was like, ugh, I really have to look at the words every time I'm doing it, because it's just like 3 repeats of the lace on one side and 3 repeats of the lace on the other side, like reversed. So it's not enough to memorise it, so I have to look every time. So it was a bit, maybe the next section will be better. That's a bit disappointing, but I think this is going to be so beautiful when it's done. I think it will be worth it. It's, you know, it's good for me to have something that challenges my brain a little bit more, I suppose. The bag is not from Coffee and Yarn Cakes, it's from Butternut Handmade on Etsy, I believe, and I'll leave a link down below. I left a link last time as well. And it's a beautiful bag. It's got pockets inside, like a pocket inside for your notion-y bits. Oh, and there is a little, oh, I hadn't noticed actually. I thought it was just one big pocket, but then there's two little pockets on the side here. So that's one big, and then here, there are two little ones. So that's great. It fits, it's got a really nice flat bottom. Perfect. So I've got 3 cakes in here. I think I would easily fit a 4th and it would all still sit really flat, but there would be space even for more yarn, but it all just sits really nice, which means that the like yarn balls don't get tangled. If they're all like too crowded, then they get all tangled together, so that's nice. The yarn is from Eden Cottage Yarns. I picked it up at East Anglia Yarn Festival and cast it on. Like, East Anglia Yarn Festival was at the end of like mid-March. I cast it on before I then did my March wrap-up podcast. That's like unheard of. I've got the Keswick 4-ply in Coppice, and I've got the, what is it, Lothar lace in green tea. It is baby Surrey alpaca, mulberry silk. It's so floofy and soft. And it's got this really nice, I don't think you're going to be able to see, can I hold it anywhere where you can see? It's called green tea. Oh, I've got fluff in my mouth. It has got such a subtle green to it. It's perfect for what I wanted this shawl to look like. You can kind of see in here that it's an off-white. So yeah, it's really, really beautiful. And now that I know I said last time that I was a bit like, there's not a lot of variation in the like tweedy neps and stuff. I'm quite happy with it. I feel like there's more variation on the wrong side, but you know, when I'm wearing it, both sides will be seen. So you know, be fine. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I am really enjoying the knit. I think once like the lace sections are so small, I don't think it's gonna spoil my enjoyment of the shawl, so it will be fine. All will be well. Yeah, so that's the other thing that I have been working on. Yeah, I haven't got, because these socks are going to be coming with us on holiday, I don't really have like a easy mindless knit at the moment, so I might have to just sort of have a look through my projects and see if there's something that I can pick up to fill that gap, because like I say, I was knitting on the Birds of a Feather shawl yesterday evening and got to a point where I was like, I'm done, I can't knit on that one anymore. I had to think about it too much and I was too tired, and I wanted to still be knitting, but I didn't have a plain project to pick up. So this one, we've got just over a week until we go away. We'll have to see. It might mean that I pick up something else. It might mean that I just work on these socks, and so be it if they're finished and I just have to take something else. We're just gonna have to see how it goes, I think. So that's it for whips. That's it for FOs. I've got a few things I have bought that I would like to show you. So I bought 4 things, but one of them is made to order, so it's not going to be here just yet. So that'll be exciting for me to show you when we get back. I do my next podcast. I bought from Coffee and Yarn Cakes. I bought one of the Easter Totoro bags. It's so cute. I love it so much. And in here I've got my Jelly Rolls blanket, which could be a contender for like easy knitting in the evening. Easy progress. So that's in there. Haven't worked on that for a while. I just love these bags. They've always got, dropping stuff. They've always got like a complementing, it's really hard to show you with the, it's like laser cut I think, so it's got a little Totoro in it. Really, really love it. It's so cute. So I bought that, that was Happy Mail. And then I had a voucher for Black Sheep wool, I think it's called. It's like a wool warehouse. You can get a lot of really nice yarn at a discounted price. I had a voucher from my birthday last year that I just didn't use yet. I was waiting for the right thing to buy. And then I was like, well, I should probably use it in case it expires. But I'm not buying yarn this year unless it's something that I have an intention for. So I decided I've been wanting to do some larger cross-stitch pictures. So I decided to get 2 cross-stitch pictures. So I bought this one with like the little gnome things, little Halloweeny one. Well, that would be fun to work on. And I got this little Christmassy wintry mouse toadstool one, which is just so cute. So I thought they would be really nice to have as like an alternative to the knitting. So I just need to find, this one will be fine I think. I've got a round hoop to sort of keep the tension, so that one is going to be fine. This one, because it's long, I think my round hoop that I have will be too small. I think I'll be moving it loads, so I'm going to see if I can get a rectangular like frame for it to go in while I'm cross-stitching it. I haven't opened it. This actually looks wider than I thought it was going to be. It might be okay with the hoop, but I've got like a big hoop and then I've got a really little hoop, so I don't do a lot of cross-stitch, so I don't have all of the things. So I have seen a rectangular one, and I think it was on Ali. I think Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful, she had it, so I need to go back and see what it was she was using, because I liked that. And I would like to get, Ali also has like a project envelope wallet thing, which has got a clear, this is the sign for clear plastic window. It has a clear window in it so you can see in. So that would be really nice, because then I can leave my chart in the bag but still see it through if I was crocheting in the rain or something, cross-stitching in the rain or something. All the time I craft outside in the rain. So those are the things that I bought with my voucher, and then a bit of my money towards. Really pleased with those. Glad that I didn't feel like I had to buy yarn because I had a voucher. It was nice to find something different to get. And I do enjoy cross-stitch. I just haven't really always found, like, I've done a lot of the little tiny ones, you know, that you're supposed to sort of stick on a card, and they're just a bit boring after a while. Like, they're nice to do occasionally, but it's not all that there is to cross-stitch. So I'm excited to do something a little bit bigger, have something that I can like display, so that'll be nice. And that's it for craft things. I was going to talk a little bit about books. I'm just looking at my watch because we have to go out in 15 minutes. I'm going to talk a little bit about books. Where's my phone with my apps on? I think last time I podcast I was listening to one of the 6 Tudor, I've got it all written down here so I don't even need to look in there. I was listening to the 6 Tudor Queens series by Alison Weir, and I was on Katherine Howard, I think, and I really enjoyed it. I think I'd listened to Jane Seymour. Was it Jane Seymour? No, who comes between Jane Seymour and Katherine? Anne? Jane? And then Anna of Clayfer, right? Or is it Katherine? Yeah, Anna of Clayfer, then Katherine Howard, so yeah, that's right. I really liked Anna of Clayfer, and then I think starting Katherine Howard, I was a bit I think at the end of Anna of Clayford there was some like bits that they put in just to sort of like fill out her story, because she didn't, as far as I can understand, there wasn't really anything to like report after she'd like divorced Henry. There wasn't really anything that she was up to, so they kind of like, it's historical fiction, it's not, you know, accurate, entirely accurate. I think they just sort of embellished like her later years too much for me. I was a bit like, oh, I don't know why. I was like, this poor woman had this whole life of her own, and yet it's had to be invented because we didn't know what, you know, what she was doing. But anyway, so then when I started Catherine Howard, I was a bit like meh. And every book has a different narrator, which is really nice because you really get the different voices. But it means that every book you're sort of getting, takes me a little while to warm to the narrator sometimes. And it was like that with every book. And I always warmed to them, and I always thought, yeah, it was great to have a whole new voice. But I was also, it does take you a little while to warm to them. So Catherine Howard was took me a little bit of time, and then that one finished. If you have listened or read the series, then you will know like the contrast of Anne Boleyn's ending to Catherine Howard's ending, and I was actually really anxious to finish Catherine Howard because of how Anne Boleyn's story ended. They're both beheaded. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil it, and also I just don't want to go into too much detail, but if you've read the series or listened to the series, then you'll probably know what I mean. The end of Anne Boleyn's was hard to listen to. Catherine Howard's was, I was worried listening to that one that it was going to be the same, and I was like really anxious, so I like had a bath and like got myself in the Zen like zone. And did I listen to it? Did I finish it in the bath? I don't know, but I prepared myself mentally for the end, and then it was absolutely fine. So if you've read Anne Boleyn and you're worried to read Catherine Howard, don't be. It's very different. And then I started Catherine Parr straight away, and I think I finished it in like 5 days because it was really good, and I was just so kind of excited to have finished the series. Catherine Parr lives longer than Henry. After Henry died, I was a little bit less interested, but it was still interesting to hear her life. And I did listen to the end of hers in the bath. Definitely, and sobbed because, you know, they're all, like, the end of all of them, I cried because they're just so well written. They are beautifully written. They're great. Really highly recommend them if you're interested in like historical fiction. I love historical fiction. Really glad I listened to those, and I've been like pretending like I know everything there is to know about King Henry VIII and his wives now. Every time I mentioned it to the children that I was listening to it, and now every time King Henry VIII comes up, they're like, oh, and they'll ask me questions. So, and when we were in London, we went past the Tower, and I was like, I was just listening to a book of someone who died there, and the boys are like, oh. So, yeah. After I finished the 6 Tudor Queens, I started listening to Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, and it took me like maybe 10 minutes to get into it, and then I was completely like, it just grabbed me. Yeah, I think that probably took me about 3 or 4 days to listen to because it was so good, so good. If you haven't read it or listened to it, do. And I really recommend listening to it because the narrator has like, does so many accents, and it's really, really good. So really loved that. Started listening to the next one, which I can't remember the name of. So I listened to the second one. I'm like 5 minutes in. I just haven't managed to sort of like sit down and listen to it yet. But I started listening to that one because I know that I want to know what happens. It's so good. And then the third one comes out in July and I can't wait. So I think it comes out, I get my credit on like the 13th on Audible, and so I know that I need to save that because it comes out on the 17th, I think. So I will get that and I will listen to it. So yeah, really loving that. And then there's a like novella in that series called Queen Bee, which is about, it's set like during the time of King Henry VIII. It's like in the aftermath of Anne Boleyn's death. So I was like, oh my gosh, like way to pull it together. So I borrowed the ebook on Libby, and I'm reading that with my eyeballs if I have opportunities to read with my eyeballs but can't listen. So yeah, I thought that would be a really nice thing, because I don't think I'll get the audiobook of Queen Bee because it's so short in comparison to the others. I have like I don't use my credit to get books that are like less than sort of 10 or 12 hours most of the time, because I just think I'm not going to get the value out of it, you know, because I could listen to probably a 6-hour book in like a day or two, so it doesn't feel worth it to me. So I just thought I'll get the ebook of that and read it. I've got the Libby app on my phone, I've got the Libby app on my iPad, so I can switch between those two and read that. So yeah, feeling good reading wise this year. Lots of audiobooks. I'm listening to some audiobooks with the children as well. We just listened to Paddington. We've listened to The Hobbit with the boys this year. They're listening to Lord of the Rings read by Andy Serkis. Hobbit and Lord of the Rings read by Andy Serkis, which is so good. So they're really enjoying audiobooks at the moment, and we're listening to Magic by, the name of the author has disappeared from my brain. I'll put it on the screen if I remember. I can look on here. And we're enjoying that as well. I had read Angie Sage is by. I had read a bit of it to Aidan, and he was really enjoying it, and then we stopped reading that and started reading something else. And we're about to catch up in the audiobook to where I read to. So I think once we've caught up, he's going to be a bit more interested to read it, to listen to it, because it'll be new stuff. I was really impressed that he remembered, because I didn't really remember what was happening. And he was like, oh, this is the bit where, and then he would say what was going to happen. And I was like, oh, okay, you were actually listening to me, even though you didn't give me the impression you were listening to me at the time. So that was really interesting. But yeah, and that is it, I think. I'm not going to talk about life stuff because I haven't got enough time. And there's not really a lot to say life-wise. We're just enjoying the weather, having a nice time, enjoyed like the Easter weekend, and looking forward to having some time away in May. So I don't know if I'll do a vlog in May. I might do a May vlog and just bring something together at the end of the month. Because like I said, we're travelling around. We've got a little bit over here and then a little bit there. So it's, I don't know if I'm going to really have the mental space and time to like sit down and edit. So I might just like bring something big together and put that out at the end of the month or something like that. And then I'll be back at the end of the month to do my May wrap up, and hopefully I will have finished objects to show you from all of my productive holiday knitting. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!